Hello class, today we are taking a look at how we can model dividing a fraction by a whole number. When we have our division statement, our first number in our division statement, regardless of what it is our amount that we have at the start. So our fraction here is 6/8, and our divide sign is our split into. And then we have two ways we can treat that second number in our division statement. Since 2 is a whole number, we're going to treat it as our number of equal groups. So we want to draw 6/8, and we want to split those 6/8 into two equal groups. So to do that, we're going to draw ourselves one whole rectangle. We're going to divide that up into 8 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dividing lines makes 8 equal parts. And we have 6 of those, so we'll go ahead and shade in 6 of our 8 parts. And that represents our 6/8. Now we want to split those into two equal groups. So we're going to go ahead and think about, well, 6 of anything split into two equal groups would make 3 items in each group. And we can see that if we do split into two equal groups, the part that we have, group 1 and group 2, we do in fact have 3 items in each group. So each group obviously does have 3 items. What type are those? Well, what type is each of these pieces? Each of these pieces is still an eighth of the whole. So each group has 3/8, and we'd say that our solution here is 3/8. Now in other cases, there will be pieces that we have that cannot be equally split into our desired number of groups. If that's the case, we're going to need to cut up our existing fraction into smaller pieces, and that makes an equivalent fraction. So if we take a look at question B, we start with 5/6, and we want to split that into two equal groups again. And so we can start by drawing our 5/6. So I'll go ahead and draw this nice and big. So we'll go ahead and draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dividing lines to make 6 sections. And we'll shade in 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 shaded in. Now, if I have 5 items, I can't evenly split them into two equal groups. And so what I'm going to need to do is make an equivalent fraction where the amount of parts I have can be split into two equal groups. And you can think about this a little bit, but whatever you're dividing this into is what you can cut each of your pieces into. So I'm going to cut each of these pieces into two further sections, or cut it in half. And my new fraction then is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces out of 11, 12 total. And 10 objects can be divided evenly by 2. So we're going to go ahead and circle two equal groups. There we go. Group 1 and group 2. And those are in fact equal groups of our shaded objects. And so we can say each group has, well, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. And those parts are each out of 12 in the whole. And so we can say that we have 5/12 overall. And we can say our solution here is 5/12 symbolically. So we have there our approach for dividing a fraction by a whole. The whole is going to be your number of equal groups, but you might need to cut up the pieces that you already have in your fraction so that you have enough pieces that can actually divide evenly into those groups. Let's take a look at our practice on the back. So in question A, we're going to have our 2/5 as our starting amount. In question B, we're going to have 2/9 as our starting amount. In question C, we'll have 6/9 as our starting amount, 3/5 in question D, 2/3 in question E, and 7/8 in question F. Now, of course, our divide is always split into. And then our whole number is going to be treated as our number of groups. So 4 groups, 4 groups, 4 groups, 3 groups, 5 groups, and 6 groups. So let's go ahead and start by drawing our existing fractions. So we're going to go ahead and draw 2/5 to begin with. 1, 2, 3, 4 dividing lines make fifths. We have 2 of those. Now we want to split that into 4 groups. Now another way of splitting is you could split horizontally. So let's go ahead and draw a horizontal cut line through those. And we now have 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. And so what is in each of those groups? Well, we have one part. So in each group, we have one part. And those parts are out of how many in a whole? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a whole. So each group has 1/10, and we'd say the solution here is our 1/10. In question B, we're going to start by drawing 2/9. So we need 8 cut lines to make 9 sections. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cut lines makes 9 sections. And we have 2 of those shaded in. We again want to split that into 4 groups. 2 parts can't be split evenly into 4 groups, so I'm going to cut those in half. And very similar to question A, I'm going to circle my 4 groups. So group 1, group 2, group 3, 4. I guess I can add those up here as well. Our quotient is again going to be the amount and type in each group. And in each group we have one part, and those 1 parts are out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 total parts. And so we'll say our solution here is 1/18. In question C, we again need 9ths, so a very similar drawing from before. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cut lines makes 9 parts. And we'll shade in 6 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of our 9. We again want to split that into 4 groups. Now, 6 parts can't be split into 4 groups. So if I cut those parts in half, I'd have 12 out of 18 divided by 4. And 12 parts can be split into 4 equal groups. So go group 1, group 2, oops, that's not 4 equal. What am I doing wrong here? 4 equal groups. There we go. Group 1, group 2, group 3, 4. Those are all equal. And our quotient is going to be the number and type in each group. So each group has 3 parts out of 18. And so our solution is 3 out of 18. In question D, we want to start with 3/5. So draw our hole. 1, 2, 3, 4 cut lines makes 5 sections. We have 3 of those. We want to divide that into 6 groups. Again, 3 parts can't be put into 6 groups, but 6 parts can. That'd be 6 out of 10. Divide by 6. And when we make our 6 equal groups, we are going to have 1 out of 10 in each group. And so we can say our quotient is 1 out of 10. 2/3. 2 out of 3. Now we want to split that into 5 groups. Now 2 items can't be split into 5. If we doubled it, it would be 4 items. That can't be split into 5. If we tripled it, it would be 6 items. That can't be split into 5. If we quadrupled it, it would be 8 items. That can be split into 5. So we're actually going to need to split this into 5 sections each. And we talked about how when in doubt, you definitely can split each of your sections into whatever you're dividing by, your whole number here, and that will allow you to be able to do your division. So let's go ahead and split our existing thirds into 5 sections. So I'm going to do the vertical cuts here. 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical cuts in each of our thirds. Splits those into 5 sections each. And now we need to make 5 equal groups. So what we've created here is 10 15ths split into 5. And 10 divided by 5 is always going to give us 2. So each of our 5 equal groups should have 2 items in it. And it does. And so what's in each group? Each group has 2. And in this whole thing, we have 15ths. So let's say 2 out of 15 parts. And our solution is 2 out of 15. Last one, 7/8 split into 3 groups. So we'll start by drawing our 7/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dividing lines. Those dividing lines could be a little bit more equal, but say la vie. And we'll shade in 7. And we want to split that into 3 groups. I'm going to make 2 cut lines to split each of those into 3 groups. And we'll go ahead and circle. That will have group 1, group 2, and group 3. And so in each group we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in this total thing, it's a 8 by 3, so 24 total parts. And so our new fraction would have been 21 out of 24 divided by 3, and that gives us 7 out of 24. Okay. For your figuring out your division statement, think about what you're starting with, shade it in, and how many groups we're dividing into. So we are starting with 6 out of 7. Or 6/7. And we want to split into 2 groups. Obviously we have a group there and a group there. And so that's going to be splitting into 2 groups. And the solution is 3/7 in each group. Over here, once again, think about the shading that we started with. So notice we've got solid lines and dotted lines. So I see 1, 2, 3, 3, 4 dividing lines. So we started with fifths and 4 of them filled in. Fifths. And then we're splitting into 3 groups. And that makes 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces in each group. Let's start by writing our what we already know. So start with 4/5 and split into 3 equal groups. And then each group has 4 pieces in it out of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. total in the entire object. Okay, so I hope that's helped you with your modeling a fraction divided by a whole number.